pose. The directional force of the gesture, remember the gesture is the essence of what's going on here. Again, one of the things that's most important is starting with the head and then moving directly down and establishing where the feet are. Now I'm going to kind of take you through this a little bit slower than what I would usually do. I start with the head, drop down. Remember, I'm on the side of my pencil, so I'm kind of gliding with the pencil. And then as I get to the feet, I'll come back up, define the hips, and then the directional force of the arms, and then maybe kind of the shoulders and that kind of thing. So quickly, the first thing that's important is I've established the top, the bottom, the center, and then of course the sides here. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but it's going to give me some kind of a direction. The next step is kind of as you would go into the gesture as such, then you begin to kind of add the mass to it. And you can see I'm kind of, some of the things that I'm actually pulling out of here is the directional force of the hands, the line of the shoulders, of course the head, which we could get a little bit more detailed into it, but it's not really that important. And then of course the gesture, what we're talking about is the actual gestural direction or force of the body as it goes down. Now there's a lot of ways that you can actually handle the gesture, but two things that are really important to this particular technique is the mapping, the proportional mapping. So I'm establishing top, bottom, center, directional forces. So here's the directional forces. And then of course the massing. So I'm actually adding the stuffing to the body in a sense. Now, after I get down past something like that, then I can start to get a little bit closer to, in a sense, carving the body out of the space. Now this is a clothed model. I'm not really thinking that much of the clothes, but in this one, the directional force of the shirt is going to be kind of important to the overall composition of the piece. Now, even though I established the top, the bottom, and the sides, at any point I can shift this kind of stuff. The thing that's really important is the fact that it's light, and it's going to provide me with the ability to change as I would need to. Everything in a drawing is going to be made up of directional forces and angles. So this kind of creates an angle this way, this arm creates an angle that way, the force of the head this way. Even we can get into kind of the actual placement or directional force of the head. There's a wonderful arc or line that comes kind of like down like that. Directional force of this leg. Now I'm moving pretty slow, and I'm doing this for the purpose of the demonstration. Typically, if I was going into this, and I will go through more of these, I would move a lot faster. But really quickly, probably within 1 minute, I'd be able to establish top, bottom, central axis, or great trochanter, or the great hinge of the body, the shoulder lines, that directional force of the entire body as it goes down, and then the figure's relationship to the paper. One of the things I'll mention really quick is a trick that I've learned is kind of being able to not go past your paper to establish the figure onto the paper is to take something like a red marker, and before you even start, kind of draw a red box within the paper, and that's going to tell you don't step out of the red, stay within the red, and it'll keep you from going off of the edge of the paper. It's a little bit easier to go off the edge of the paper if you're not paying attention to it. The red will kind of make you pay attention to it to see it. Just be careful, the red will go through the paper. The other thing that I have is I have multiple pieces of paper here, and this way I could flip them as I'm done. So if I do 1 minute drawing, then I can flip it and start another, and flip it and start another, and flip it and start another, or I can turn it around really quick.